Hello everybody, it's Wouter here from Real Estate Talk with Wouter, and today I'm here with Suzanne, who is the REIWA president, and today we're going to talk a little bit about her story, the market and the elections that are coming up as well. Suzanne, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Wouter. It's lovely to be here.
My pleasure, my pleasure. Okay, let's go straight into it. I would like to start with a little bit of your story. So you have a real estate and property management background. So how did the community react after you were appointed to become president at REIWA?
Quite positively. I think I'm actually the second female president in 106 years, so very, very proud to be another female. Obviously the one before me was the amazing Kareena Ballard, so very big shoes to fill, and obviously some other great presidents in between her and myself. But I'm pretty sure I'm the first one with a property management focus. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So very, very proud to represent that sector of the industry.
Yeah. We are happy to have you. So I'm a property manager myself. I focus on the commercial side of it, and when I saw your appointment, I was like, oh, this is great to have someone that approaches things with a property management perspective.
It's such an important part of the industry.
It is.
Especially now at the moment.
Historically, it's often been overlooked, very sales oriented. But property managers, they manage the tenancies for months, sometimes years, especially in commercial. It could be a decade, where they build that relationship between landlords and tenants. It's good to see that the industry is starting to understand that we're adding value to people's investments and business and lives, really.
Totally, and I think that's why I've always loved this sector of the industry, is because I feel we really are in people's lives and we really build long-term relationships. Whereas in sales that relationship is potentially a 6 to 8 week period, whereas we get to be in people's lives, whether it's residential or commercial strata, for a long period of time. So,
no, that's good. So the first interview I did here was with the CEO, Kath Hart, was on this table as well. And how is it to work with Kath Hart?
Well, Kat's very, very inspiring as a CEO. It's great to have a woman at the helm to bring that perspective. She's a very strong advocate, and that was probably one of the skill sets she had when we chose her as a CEO. I'm really enjoying working with her and what we're going to achieve in the next 2 years.
Yeah, perfect. So, as the president and CEO, there's probably lots of things that you collaborate on, but there are also sectors where you differentiate yourself. So what is the difference and what are the similarities in the two roles?
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, we are both sort of heading up a member organisation. So obviously, she's got the business side to run and the commercial services of REIWA, which is very important because it helps keep our membership fees quite low for our members. But in turn, I am representing, the membership at wide and the best, wanting the best outcomes for our members. And that's not to say Kath doesn't, but a lot of times it's a balancing act. And a lot of times, there's decisions made that represent, are better for the wider industry that may not be beneficial to my business. But, it's remembering that we are a member organisation and we're really here to deliver the best outcomes for our members.
Okay, perfect. All right. So you have been with REIWA for...
A little cough, so sorry.
That's okay, yeah, drink. You've been with REIWA for about 10 years in different positions. How do you look back to those 10 years and building up to where you are today?
Yes, it just seems like yesterday actually. I was very fortunate to work on the council or be involved on the council under some great presidents. Just the end of David Airy, Hayden Groves, Damien Collins. So they were all very inspiring presidents, and I learnt an amazing amount during that time. Also Neville Posse, the CEO at the time, he had been within the organisation for 40 plus years.
Yeah.
So again, very, very passionate leader within our industry. So I'm really grateful I've had that time. I think, you know, now I'm ready, you know, to take on the role, because it's quite daunting being a spokesperson on behalf of the whole industry, and to be across all sectors. You know, we've got the commercial tenancy review coming on at the moment. We've had residential tenancy reform, and that's still ongoing, which, you know, that's probably my specialty. You know, strata's a huge focus. We've got buyers agents, you know, obviously sales agents, auction agents, business agents. So it's a lot. It is a lot, So it's really important. I want to do the job really well, and I want to make our members proud.
Yeah, okay, no, good. And that's what I enjoy about the industry myself, is that it is so complex. It is not, you know, there's all these small little puzzles, and put them all together, you have the real estate industry. You know, you have valuers, you have people that work in construction, developers.
Yes.
It just basically doesn't end, does it?
No, it doesn't end. No, you're right. And then you've got the consumers. You know, the people whose lives we touch every day, whether you're a landlord, a tenant, a business owner, you know, renting a commercial property, you know, people in strata, the disability sector who have, you know, certainly different needs. So and it's very rewarding to be in their lives, I think.
Okay, excellent. Well, perfect. And you mentioned a few big names that have been here before, so it's it must be a good feeling to continue that legacy that they've built over the years. And
it is, as I said, some very big shoes to fill, but looking forward to the challenge.
Cool. Right, perfect. All right, so let's go and talk about politics. It's 2025 is a big year, not just in WA, but even, you know, from a federal point of view, and even around the world. There are elections happening left, right, and centre, just been finished. What's REIWA's role within this environment? What is where sits REIWA during these election periods?
Yeah, look, I think, you know, I think it's really important that we're a voice not only for our members and our agents, but also the consumer. We had some great results. REIWA.com, we did a survey recently with our REIWA.com portal, and it was quite a quick time frame at the end of the year when a lot of people are busy, and we had 15,000 responses. And a lot of that was people found stamp duty such a barrier to entering the market. You know, I personally feel it's disappointing that we've had, you know, these stamp duty announcements, you know, so close to the election, when we've really had an opportunity to have that in at a really crucial time over the last few years. So it's I think it shows the power of our portal, the power of engagement with the public, and you know, that how in what high regard they hold REIWA. That's definitely been you know, an eye opener for us, and really valuable contribution to what the public think.
Okay, perfect. So so if I understand correctly, what you do is you try to collect data and feedback from the community, and then you translate that and you advocate for the industry within governments, and especially now that we're going towards the elections, you let them know what is important for us as an industry.
Yeah, totally. And you know, that includes you know, our policy positions at the moment are across 3 areas. Obviously, reducing, you know, taxation such as stamp duty for you know, especially first home buyers, a reduction, a downsizers type stamp duty for you know, established buyers to downsize their home, and that in turn will help supply, will, you know, increase homes that may not suit, you know, the current makeup of that family, and, you know, release those properties to, you know, families that maybe need a bigger home, and people in turn to downsize into an apartment that might be more suitable number of bedrooms. We also have some, you know, feel there's some barriers around payroll tax. So we also advocate around industry regulation, and you know, we understand that they have an important role to play in the industry, but making sure any legislation introduced is really, really good common sense legislation. So one point is we were asking for bonds to be, tenancy bonds to be lodged direct with the bond administrator. And that takes out a little bit of the risk, it takes out a little bit of the burden on the agent and the agency, and also takes out some of the risk of, you know, if we look at an average bond would be around, you know, $2,000 to $2,500 these days. So if that's delivered straight to the bond administrator, there's less cyber risk of that money going, you know, that's right. Obviously I mentioned payroll tax reform. There's still another tranche of residential tenancy reforms to come on, so really keeping that balance between investors and tenants. Obviously, you know, the commercial tenancy reforms on the agenda. Funding a cyber security risk program for agents, because that's, you know, we're totally in the firing line in regards to, you know, risk prevention with properties changing hands, and obviously the funds that we hold in our trust account. And also asking for the home buyers assistance fund to be increased, so buyers have access to that to help with their first purchase of their first home.
Yeah, no, perfect. No, it's even on that side, it's there's lots going on. You tend not to realise how much is going on until you just name the list and.
You do, yeah, and I think REIWA does an amazing amount of advocacy work in the background, and you know, I suppose it's always that challenge of letting people know how much is being done in the background. You know.
Yeah, well, this is a way to share it with the broader community. So we'll share this interview on different social media channels, including YouTube. There will be an article which will be published on my newsletter and. X and threads, so there's definitely different channels in which we're trying to spread this interview and the message that you have to share today. So,
thank you.
Busy. Yes, it does keep me busy.
It does, yeah. Editing isn't it? That's hours and hours of work.
It is, and I'm not a professional video editor, so probably take a little bit longer than a professional will do, but that's okay. I'm passionate about it, and I'll go from there. So let's look at the plans for REIWA this year. What's on the agenda?
Yeah, again, really fine-tuning our services for members, keeping them at the forefront of, you know, and making everything that we, ensuring that everything we deliver is really best practice out there for our members. So to save them the time and energy of having to go through, whether it's you know, software or platforms or forms. Our forms is a huge component of our business. You know, we're just at the moment developing. We've got an iFlex pipe problem within the industry. So you know, we're making sure our members are covered with whether they're a property manager or a sales agent, so that their risk is obviously reduced by the correct use of forms. So they're a big part of the business and constantly updated, so you know, that risk is taken away. We've got anti-money laundering legislation on the horizon. That'll be in 2026, which, judging by last year, if we have another year like last year that goes so quickly, that'll be on our doorstep very soon. And that's just another impost on agents, you know, to do some of the government's work. So we're trying to liaise with AusTrack and also other agents and providers that are already in New Zealand, and New Zealand agents have it in place at the moment. And just again to find best practice and try and minimise the extra work required for our members on that. So that's a big piece of work. Obviously, as I said, we've got another round of residential tenancy reforms that we'll be working with the government on. We've got changes to CPD. They'll be reducing from 10 points to 5 points. So, you know, really having input with the government on what that will look like in the long term. And making sure that those, you know, CPD is really important, I think, to the ongoing, you know, profession of agents. It does. So it's important that we have a say in how that's shaped, and also obviously we've spoken about the commercial tenancy legislation. Strata reforms are huge, so yeah, there is a lot on the agenda.
Okay, no worries. All right, excellent. So we'll getting towards the end of this interview. So before we finish up, I wanted to talk about the market. We just had their interest rates being cut, which was received very positively by the broader community.
And the banks were quick to...
Very quick.
Yeah,
They started...
quickest I've seen them.
They started reducing some of them. They started reducing it even before the announcement. So what is your expectation, if you would have a crystal ball, what is your expectation of what the market is going to do this year?
Yeah, it was interesting. There was a bit of debate whether the interest rate would drive a lot more activity. Definitely, I think there has been some more enthusiasm, a renewed enthusiasm in the market by it. It's only 25 basis points, or 25. So financially, it's not going to have a huge impact, but I think it goes to improving that buyer sentiment or seller sentiment. It just gives that
extra little bit of loan capacity.
Yeah, and also that bit more confidence that we're not going to have any more rate rises, and just make people feel a bit more confident in their buying decisions. I was just talking to Mark Whiteman from REIWA, and they had a huge weekend of auction clearance rates and huge attendance. So I think it's definitely brought some positivity to the market. We're forecasting potentially a 5 to 10% potential increase in sale price. I think it's interesting with rents that they are edging up still very, very slightly, but we're also seeing the vacancy rate edge up. So that's sitting at 2% now, which is probably a bit of relief to tenants looking to find a home.
Yeah, a bit more option out there.
There is, yeah.
Nothing more frustrating than going to a home open and it's already leased.
Yes, yeah, no, that is frustrating. So, so there seems to be a lot more opportunity, a lot more positivity. I'm talking to agents who are saying a lot more listings are hitting the market, so a lot more choice for buyers. So I think it'll be a good year.
Okay, well, let's see what 2025 has to bring for us. Do you have any final words for the audience and the community, your members, before we wrap up?
No, again, I just wanted to iterate how proud I am to be the REIWA president, and really looking forward. I have a really engaged, energised and really professional council, a team around me that I couldn't ask for a better team. So we are all really looking forward to creating as many opportunities for our members, and it's such a great institute to be part of. It's the most successful institute in the whole of Australia. We're very proud of it, and we realise there's still a lot more work to do, and we're very looking forward to getting stuck in.
Well, we're proud to having you. Thank you for sharing your story with us.
Thank you, Wouter.
It's my pleasure. So if you would like to get in contact with Suzanne, I'm happy to facilitate an introduction. As I mentioned before, we'll share the interview and the article on our socials. And feel free to reach out if you have any questions on how things might affect you or your agency. Thanks again.
Thank you.